Hey guys, this week's podcast features Joe Lyons, the owner of Joe's Deli and the Buffalo Catering Company. Joe came down, talked about his start in the culinary world, going to culinary school, and starting both businesses. Let's get...
We just catered 1,600 people on Saturday.
1,600?
Yeah.
What event was that? Or was it several events?
No, it's one event. We've been doing it, this is our fourth year, and it keeps growing. We rolled into that to the Elmwood Art Festival, so I was on there down in Elmwood till...
Wow.
I mean, we got there at 5 a.m. I finished up at midnight. And then I went till 3 o'clock in the morning. And then I worked all day yesterday on Hurdle. But
wow.
We can get it. I mean, it's what I asked for. So.
How does, I can't even comprehend 1,600, food for 1,600 people. When you look at the piles of, raw ingredients.
Tray after tray after tray after tray, and the cooler is stacked. And when we first did it, luckily for us, they kept the same menu for the last 4 years.
Nice.
So the first time was 500. Then it was $850. Last year it was 1,200, and then this year it was 1,600. So we had it's when it's that much, it's not that bad, but it's just buying all of it, and then
you're just seeing the bill for ingredients, and you're just like,
oh my god, and then you just open the cooler and there's a silver tray to the ceiling all around, and then trying to get it there, it's pretty. I mean, it's pretty amazing that we're able to do it, and
wow, and
do it within an hour. They were 8 in an hour. Hour and a half. They all went through.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean, things like that. Plus, now with the second Joe's location, I mean, it just has to be things constantly.
It's intense. But I asked for it. You know what I mean? It's like somebody pushed me into it. So,
how was opening the second Joe's location? Was it a little bit easier just because it was your second restaurant, or?
Yeah. The part about, are we going right now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. The part that was easier is that the menu was the same.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the hardest thing on Hurdle, that just getting the menu down and trying to incorporate all the different things I had in my mind that I wanted to do. At least that part was down. And then, believe it or not, I'm so glad I hired an interior designer, because that was the other thing. I had my wife's involved, my mother-in-law, my mom. I'm trying. Everybody's picking out colors and this and that, and I let Michael run with it, and he killed it. He knocked it out of the park.
Was it a different experience? Was the Hurdle Ave pretty much set when you moved in? You didn't have to do too much?
They were both pretty similar in that they both need to be gutted out.
Okay.
And the only difference is that we bought the building on Elmwood.
Okay, yeah.
So we wanted to do it right.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's your baby.
We do the plumbing and the electrical, but we're going to do it for the whole building, not just our space.
Yeah.
And just kind of go that extra step, since we're not leasing that, for the long term.
Nice.
And the same thing for Tacoma. That's how it was there, too.
Oh, yeah, for the catering, yeah.
Yeah, so my wife and I purchased the building, but that by far was the worst one. By far. There was garbage to the ceiling in the basement, and it was just mangled, but it was worth it. That one took a while. That took a lot longer, but luckily the rentals, softened the blow and helped us get through it. But
jeez,
it's never ending. That's for sure.
I don't know too much about your background. How young at an age did you get into the restaurant industry?
The restaurants. I was living in San Diego, and I was going to school and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I think I was 18.
What were you going to school for at the time?
Well, just to go. That's what you do. General. Just to go, general studies, get out of Buffalo.
Yeah.
And went and lived in San Diego, and just needs, little income. So I was actually serving in a retirement community.
Wow.
So it was a little interesting. They were a little...
Interesting,
little unique.
clientele.
Yeah, they were a little demanding, but that lasted about 3 months before I was I think I want to give the cooking part a try.
Yeah.
And so they switched me to the back of the house, and it was me and one other English-speaking person out of 40. So I picked up Spanish pretty quick. And that was my first kind of dabble in it. And after a few months, I knew I really, really liked it. And wanted to pursue it, but so I was I can either stay in school and just kind of teach myself, or I can apply to the CIA, and that's the route that I went.
Oh wow, you went to CIA?
I did. That's a little double-edged too, because I left San Diego to go there,
Which
in Hyde Park.
Oh, okay, so
near
like the
Poughkeepsie.
main,
Yeah. So I went from San Diego to Hyde Park, and it was great. I was loving it. And ironically, my sister lived in Manhattan, and her boyfriend was opening a restaurant.
Wow.
So I was like, okay,
things are working out.
Yeah. So basically, I was going to school Monday through Friday, from like 7 a.m. to 2.
Yeah.
And on Fridays, I would hop on the Metro North, take the train up to the city, and I was able to experience opening this restaurant on the Upper West Side. And so I would work there Friday night, Saturday, and then all day Sunday, and then take the train back.
Jeez.
And go to school. And after about 6 months, I was like, I think I like the New York City part a little bit better. And the school was awesome. It gave me some really good groundwork.
Yeah.
And a lot of the formal stuff that I didn't, really know about.
Yeah.
And but I was practicing too in the kitchen that I was at. So when I go take our test there, I was killing it because I got to practice the whole weekend.
Yeah.
But so yeah, that's where it kind of all started. That was like 2 or 3 years.
Damn.
And then was in New York City for a little while, and then came back to Buffalo.
Well, why the move back to Buffalo? Just
because the line cook living in Manhattan's just not working, and I'm like, I'm not moving out to. At the time, I was like, I think 20 or 21. Living in Brooklyn by myself or Queens or something like the Bronx just wasn't that appealing to me.
Taking like a 2-hour ride.
I mean, the cooking part really motivated me and drove me and stuff like that. So that's what kept me there. But then my sister was like, "Yeah, you're not staying here much longer." So, so I came back, which it was fine. I got the experience and got to cook for a lot of cool like celebrities and all that jazz. Nice. But saw what that level is like.
What is like? Is there a big difference between opening a restaurant in Buffalo and opening a restaurant in New York City? Like, do you feel like it's more stressful, or? I mean, well, I was lucky enough to do one in Atlanta a few years after that, and all 3 places it's not easy anywhere. I mean, you deal with the municipalities, and on hiring this enormous staff and trying to implement your structure from the beginning. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's any easier anywhere. I think there's more a motivation in the city in New York because it is so expensive for rent. And it's got to be super competitive too.
Oh yeah, I mean there's a restaurant every few steps.
Yeah,
like if you don't have your shit together, you're gonna be close. Yeah. So it was a cool experience. Nice to do that for sure.
So I'm assuming that you probably hire a bunch of kids at the Deli and the catering company, or maybe kids on the up and up who are like getting into it.
Yeah, we're trying to. I went from 12 employees to 45 in the last 3 months. Oh, so, I mean, things are growing rapidly. Elmwood's a big chunk of it, but the catering has grown a lot. Yeah. So, I've been fortunate to be able to accumulate some really great leaders for each location, and then we try and surround them with a supporting cast that can help them, and we really try to look out for the ones that are hungry, that want to learn, that take initiative. Yeah. And
I think that group of people is growing in Buffalo, like kids who want to, get really serious about it.
That want to learn and that want to be taught, and there's obviously some that just want a paycheck, and that's going to be anywhere. But you try and pay a little more attention to the ones that really want to learn and that want to know more than just cooking. I get a lot of questions like all day about everything from what I mean, like how did you choose your linen service, or how do you know how to buy this or this or that, and how to talk to people and communicate is the big thing because it gets pretty intense.
With the younger kids though, like would you ever recommend culinary school, or would you say do it on your own path?
I was that kid, and I asked a lot of people that question, and my chef in New York City went to the CIA, and he was trying to steal me away. Yeah. And I've had other people that went to school and say you got to do it, and it's something you'll have forever. Which I think it's all about the individual. Yeah. If you need that structure and you feel comfortable doing it and want to go through that process, then I'm all for it. And other people are able to pick it up like real easily. And I think that's with a lot of things in life. It's up to the individual. So I just had a kid just leave for the CIA a couple months ago.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? And I was like, go get it. Go kill it. Go do it and have fun. And if you come back to Buffalo, give me a buzz. I'll be here, But
you might have Joe's Deli 3 at that point.
You never know. My wife will kill me, but never know.
Yeah. So you come back to Buffalo from New York. What did you do when you got back? Were you kind of looking at?
Yeah, I was at a few places. I was at I came back in the Brownstone Bistro, which is now Bambino.
Yeah,
I was there the other night. It was open about a year, and there wasn't too many fine dining places at the time besides like Oliver's.
Oh yeah,
and I think Hutch's maybe was around. Yeah. And this is. Yeah, they definitely were. But, a few different places. And so I went in there and, ironically, I didn't know Noel Morielli at the time, but he had left to go to Las Vegas. So there was a sous chef opening.
Oh, okay.
And just timing kind of snuck in there. And that was great. I did that for a while. And then that chef left to go down to Atlanta.
Oh, okay.
So I think that was about a year and a half or two. It's all a blur. But so I went down there with him and helped open up a place, which was a really cool experience. Again, it was me and him, and I was the translator by then for a lot of the.
Do you
the
still
cooks.
have your Spanish chops?
I can definitely understand more than I can speak, but it was pretty cool to be able to do that and help with all the hiring and all that other stuff and
nice.
Gain that experience. And then I after that I came back and I was at Nectar for a while.
Okay. And
I was a little, and I mean a while. I don't know if it was a year or 2 years. I'm not sure. It was like I said, I was young, single, having fun.
Yeah.
And so I had switched to go to Lotus. So I was there.
Oh, okay.
For a few months, and could tell that it was just a stop.
Yeah.
And a friend of a friend had said, "Hey, this guy is the new chef over at the Park Lane. They're looking for help."
Oh, okay. Is this when it was in the Statler still?
This was still on Gate Circle.
Oh, okay.
The restaurant.
Oh, the restaurant.
And he had this guy. He just came from the Waldorf. He's looking for help. I was like, oh shit. All right. Well, just tell him I'm a prep cook. Just tell him, I just kind of want to be under the radar, no responsibility type thing. Went in, and within like a day or two, they knew, you can only mask it so much. I'm not going to dumb myself down too much. But that's how I got to meet Adam Getz.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
So he was my boss there, and
he's coming down here next Monday.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're still really good friends, and
right down the street from each other, Tina.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just morphed into I was in the line there and and doing all that, and they had acquired the rights to the Statler for the catering.
Okay, yeah.
And needed someone to run it. So I was like, shit, I'll give it a try. And that's where I kind of got my catering chops didn't have any experience in it, but I was like, he kind of took me under his wing and showed me some stuff about it and let me run with it.
Was there any hesitation about going from the restaurant world to the catering world?
Adam's pretty convincing, you know what I mean? So there was a little bit, but more of, they dangle, put some money in front of you and you're like 24. I'm like, shit, yeah, man, I'll do that. And they gave me a good, supporting crew as well. And they were just starting to get going. They had only had a few events before we were there. And it was great. I was there, I think, for 3 years down there. It was, I learned a lot.
Did you?
There.
Yeah.
Just learned a lot about myself, a lot about people, and and being kind of on your own and managing and all these personalities and brides and all that stuff. You know what I mean?
It's a whole different beast. It seems like
it is, and I that's the thing I enjoy now is that I'm able to do both.
Yeah,
and to be, and it's gone from being, which the beginning of it 15 years ago was the food.
Yeah,
was what really drove me. just that whole part was my passion, and it's kind of funny how things change.
Yeah,
you know
right?
what I mean? And now it's on. I still love the food part and the creativeness and all that, but yeah, it changes.
Wow.
So it was a pretty cool experience, and that brought me to Joe's Deli.
Okay. So you went from the catering, but then
I left the Park Lane, and I was kind of in limbo of what I wanted to do. I had an offer to open up a place with somebody that wanted me as a partner, and my wife's like, why don't you just go freaking do something on your own? You know what I mean? Like, give it a shot. Have some faith. And so
it's Buffalo. So that's not that expensive.
Yeah, right. It starts out low, and then all of a sudden it doubles. But so that's pretty much in that transition. Yeah, it was like I think that was 06.
Wow.
March of 06, I left there, and then
I didn't know Joe's was around for that long.
Yeah, 7 years. Oh. August 15th.
Yeah, I think I first visited in like 2009. That was kind of when the site started, and when I started like paying attention to what was going on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah, we were pretty under the radar for the first couple of years. There were such big shoes to fill with Massman's.
Yeah,
he was there for 50 years.
Oh wow!
It was a couple different owners, but they were an institution.
Yeah,
and the people that came through the first couple of years were just pissed.
Yeah,
they're like, it's not the same, and this and that. And I'm like, well, I still have corned beef and pastrami and Russian dressing. No, those types of things, and it took a while to convert them, but we didn't want to disrespect what was there before us and what it meant to the community.
Yeah, was there any reason that's why you picked? Is that kind of why you picked that location, or did you just?
I knew I wanted to open a deli, and then it was a location, and it's funny because I drive down Colvin 40 times a day, and even before that, on my way to the Park Lane, I just never noticed it. And then my buddy from Lombardo's, Chris, and another guy were like, "You gotta at least go check this place out," and went in, and that was it.
Wow.
I was like, "This is it." Yeah, even though it was destroyed on the inside, I was like.
How long had it been like closed before you got in there?
Almost a year.
Oh, really? It was that bad?
It was that bad, but the landlord was kind of picky about who was coming in, and there was a lot of different people with different ideas.
I see.
And I guess we charmed him into letting us continue it because we were the only ones that wanted to do another deli.
Yeah. So why did you want to do a deli? Like, because you kind of, it seems like you had some fine dining background.
Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, it was catering and fine dining and all that kind of stuff, but I was kind of sick of the lifestyle. I was kind of newly married, I think a year or so, and at the Statler I was in charge of the facility, so I'd be the last one to leave every time. If there was a band playing, it'd be 5 a.m. If there was a wedding, 1, 2 in the morning, and it was fine, but as looking at a long-term thing, I just kind of wanted somewhat of a normal schedule. Little did I realize that's the last thing I got.
As much as possible.
I mean, the nights aren't as late, but
I
just knew I wanted to do something that I was a little more comfortable with, and as far as food and schedule-wise, that I knew I wasn't going to be on the cusp of being the most creative, cutting-edge chef in Buffalo, and just kind of knew where I fit in.
Nice. And so how long would you say from opening it up in 2006 did it get to the point where it is now?
The beast that it's turned into?
Yeah. Or maybe like the level of food that you wanted to start putting out.
I think, in the beginning we were just trying to maintain and trying to not screw up, and I was figuring out I'd never been a business owner before, and
there's got to be a lot of holes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, payroll and insurance and all this other stuff that you never really thought. I'd be like, I just want to open up this restaurant. And for 2 or 3 months, you're under construction, and I'm definitely always hands-on. So, you're trying to do that, but then you got this concept in your head.
Yeah.
That it's always in my head that it's going to work. You know what I mean? I just got to try and figure out how to implement it.
Yeah.
So the first year, the first 2 or 3 years were a little tough. I was there every day, mopped the floor every night, and was just there. You got it.
80 hours a week.
Yeah, and be the face of it. And my wife was pretty understanding at the time. We had just had our first kid, and along the way, we got better at it, and then started to pick up more people with some more culinary expertise that could help with specials and maybe adding a new set, and kind of tweak the menu every year and add a few things here and there. And I think that's over the years. The busier we got, the more I was able to afford, higher skilled help. The culinary field, the culinary background, and then my part, the catering part, which I have always felt comfortable leading, was able to still do that at the same time and try and supplement some of that. So,
I think one of my favorite things about Joe's is the deli classics are all there, but you'll throw in the occasional Asian pork taco
I think you gotta
something like that.
You gotta keep it fun. I mean, the deli classics are a must. I mean, we kind of touch on a little of everything, whether it's the Cuban or a muffaletta from New Orleans or
that muffaletta,
Italian.
That muffaletta is awesome.
Yeah, right on, man. And even the hangover, something slimy with a fried egg on it. Who doesn't like a fried egg on anything?
God bless.
But what we try to do with the specials is to have some fun with it, and we get a lot of people that eat there 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah,
a lot. I mean, my dad eats there every day, but he can pretty much chicken salad or a Reuben. But a lot of people, 3-4 times a week.
Yeah.
And once they work their way through the menu, they want to try something different, or they always don't want a sandwich. So we try and to keep it fresh with stuff, and even just a little thing like running tacos.
Yeah.
They fly, whether it's kimchi or a fish taco or pork or chicken or steak, whatever. People just love them. They want to, I think that you just got to keep it fresh and keep the ideas going.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I think I do enjoy several of your sandwiches, but I think the first thing I do when I go in and as I look at like the specials, and I see what's going on.
And we get harassed of that. They're not, hey, come on, let's go, let's get it. You guys are slacking this week, so we try and keep up on it. And it's what Tacoma has afforded us, our catering company. Over there is they're the main producer. Of all the food for all 3 places. So
okay. So like prep and everything?
They do all the prep. They do all the soups, the salads, all the catering. And they're able to push some of the specials too and stuff like that, or try new things. But and now in Elmwood, the guy we have over there puts his own twist on it too, and his own snack menu and
nice.
and brunch and stuff like that.
So he has like his little own creative.
Yeah, he's got his thing over there, but the bulk of it comes from Tacoma.
Yeah,
and then he puts his twist on his menu, and he does a great job. They all do a great job, actually.
Nice.
But yeah.
Yeah. So when did the Buffalo Catering Company get going?
The catering company, after like 2 or 3 years, we weren't getting catering jobs because we were called Joe's Deli. And they were like, "Why? You don't want a deli catering your wedding?" And like, no, they could do it. Don't they got and they're like, and it just kind of it happened a few times. So
all about branding. Huh?
Yeah, I was like, let's just call it the Buffalo Catering Company. I mean, it's Buffalo. It's not it's not that ingenious, but hey, we'll help with the Googles.
Yeah, exactly. That's the easiest Google search of all time.
So we started in 2009, and we were quietly promoting it when somebody would inquire about catering or we were going after an event. That's who we would go through, and we would always do a custom menu. And so we were back to square one with the menu, like at the original one. So we had this 14-page menu that we're trying to condense down and try and think of every possible scenario and keep it affordable for everybody.
I feel like the catering business is pretty competitive. Like, are other catering businesses just like going after each other?
I don't know. You know what? I learned a couple of years ago that I can really only worry about myself. You know what I mean? If I sit there and look, X, Y, and Z just moved in on Hurdle. What are you going to do? I'm like, I don't really give a shit. Like, I can only control what we do. And I think the catering, there's a couple out there that will just underbid the shit out of it, and I have no idea how they make money. But they want their name on it, and that's their thing. That's what they could do.
Crazy.
But there's a lot of choices, and people are smarter and have better palates and know more stuff about food. Just like like this, that they're more educated, and a lot of people aren't going to pay for subpar crap. You know what I mean? Like, just because you have catering doesn't mean it has to be vanilla in a tray and
exactly.
And, so you can still put a lot of good ingredients and make it really nice, no matter how many people you're catering for.
Yeah. I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
So when did you get the Tacoma building right away, or was that something that kind of came?
That was pretty much everything that we've done is like within a month. We come up with an idea. So fortunately, Hurdle had gotten so busy that, and this is not, our customers are what drive us. Customers are everything to me. And it had gotten to the point with the catering that they were kind of interfering with us catering during the day. The phone's ringing. Somebody's constantly, you're trying to make food and do catering, and it was a good problem to have.
Yeah.
So I was looking for a building with, and I just happened to be cutting through on Tacoma. Somebody slapped the for sale sign up like the day before, and it couldn't be really any closer. And it worked out. They were, the person was looking to sell it immediately, and we were fortunately in a position to do it.
Nice.
And of course, with the wife's blessing, I went on to the next phase.
Yeah.
But it worked out. I mean, I think we bought it in 2010, or 11. 2011, I think. And it took almost a year to get it going, because it was a 5-unit building that we converted into 4, and the kitchen, there wasn't a kitchen there. So, I mean, everything, all plumbing, electrical, the hood, I almost had a heart attack when I saw that thing. And, buy all the equipment and coolers and start all over again and to prepare it to be ready to do, like I was mentioning earlier, to do 1,600 people at one time, which we did the other day, and not feel it, and not be like borrowing cooler space from Torches like we used to do and stuff like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, can we put some, for Taste of Buffalo, can we put some soup in there and stuff like that? But to be able to handle it and handle the normal daily stuff as well.
Yeah.
So the capabilities of it are pretty cool, and luckily today I was in talks with this guy that I used to work with that's going to kind of take over the sales side of our catering and really start to promote it. Because right now we're pretty under the radar.
Yeah.
A lot of word of mouth has always been our biggest customer, getting people that way. But we're ready to take the plunge, and I guess with the big boys or the next level. So he just agreed to come on earlier today. We met, and nice. So hopefully that'll keep going.
Yeah, keep going, and more
you can't stop. I mean, we don't stop.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean. Like, I don't stop, and I try and preach that to my employees. Like, we go all the time, but not recklessly. Mm-hmm. Like we're methodical. You think it out, and it's not just a free for all, but it's we don't slow down. Wow. We will at some point.
Well, I mean, speaking of not slowing down, then a couple years later, you're opening the second location. That's kind of like how Tacoma happened. I was looking to actually to purchase Hurdle, and it just it just wasn't going to happen, and so we decided we're staying on Hurdle for a long, we renewed our lease, and I was looking downtown, Main Street downtown for a while, and unfortunately I'm not a developer, so a lot of the buildings down there need some extremely deep pockets, and I don't. Yeah. I can't. That's not my forte. Is rehabbing buildings. I was gonna say, I think a lot of people have walked down Main Street and thought like it's gonna take a lot of money.
Yeah, I brought like a couple contractors through buildings, and they're like, Joe, run the other way. Which I'm glad but I'm glad
let somebody else be the brave.
Exactly. Like, you're stick to what you're doing. And I'm glad that one of the buildings I was looking at, I'm glad somebody else scooped up and they're doing something with it, which is awesome. I'm happy that part of downtown somebody's doing something.
Oh yeah, that's like the next logical area, I think, is
totally
is downtown Main Street, like that whole block.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's got it. I mean, with all the stuff they're doing down there, I mean, you got to keep it going. But I had walked and drove by countless times by the old off the wall, and even one time we were walking back from Faherty's, one of my buddies is like, hey, what about that place? I'm like, shut up, dude, you don't know what you're talking. Like, it was a late night, but I was like, a couple weeks later, I was like, let me just go through it. And there's got to be a reason why it's been vacant for so long, and all those stigmas that were attached to it. And when it came down to it, it was, the owner had a price in his mind that he was not going to settle anything less for, and he wasn't willing to lease it out. Luckily, we caught him at the right time, right before Christmas. Well, and that kind of just turned into, I guess we're going to the next level of delis, and that's something I really wanted to do. Is I love Hurdle. It's my bread and butter. Mm-hmm. It's who we are, but I wanted to try a little different twist.
On it. The vibe inside is definitely a little bit more of a hangout or a kind of location.
Definitely. I mean, I kind of call it I kind of made my own word up, like a hybrid deli, which I don't know exists, but where it's still deli food and deli drinks and stuff like that, but it's a little more nicer atmosphere, and there's a bar there, and that kind of stuff, and the decor is really cool and stuff like that. So
was getting like the liquor license and having a bar kind of a key to the location?
Because all that could have been, we're building this custom bar and all this stuff, and it was done before I even had the liquor license, and I'm like, oh shit, man, hope this works out. But we were fortunate. We took every precaution that we could in hiring, attorneys and all that other stuff because it could really put you in limbo.
That process. I mean, I've only learned of it just from talking to. Oh yeah, go to the. I've only learned of it just from talking to restaurant owners, and I mean, we even had Mike A, who has opened several restaurants, and he was having issues with Cantina Loco and all that stuff.
And sometimes it's the littlest thing from whoever you have, that you're going to put on there or your past, and they're pretty thorough about it. And I have a few friends now that have just gone ahead and gone without it, and they just got to do what they got to do because you can't just you can't wait for it. It could take
you're
gonna
kill yourself in rent.
I mean, I actually started the process before I even bought the building.
Wow.
So when I was down in front of the planning board and all that stuff, and they're talking about the space, and I'm like, well, I don't really even own it yet, but I want to, I'm starting the process now, and they looked like me, I was crazy, but we started that in December, and we didn't even get in there till February 1st.
Wow.
So we just tried to expedite as quickly as possible. But
did the process go as smooth as you had hoped, or was it a little bit?
Knock on wood, it was. We had to have a hearing and stuff like that because of the proximity to there's so many liquor licenses in one area. And it went well. I can't complain. And I feel for the guys that are that have a tough time sometimes because you never know, you're at somebody else's mercy. It could be sitting on somebody's desk and all, but
I mean, I live in Allentown. You look across the street, and that Alley Cat or whatever has been finished for.
Oh, it's terrible. You see, you know what I mean?
At least 8 months. And it's just sitting there, and the guy's probably waiting for his liquor license. That
I mean, what do you do? I mean, you're kind of. Some place, I think a finer dining estate. I mean, it depends. If you're a bar, then you're gonna have you can't really open without.
I don't even know how people open them on Chippewa. I don't understand.
Oh my gosh,
how somebody gets a liquor license on Chippewa.
I mean, and you hear, and if something goes wrong, man, there's so many factors. But and that was my first time delving into that whole thing. I've never been through that process, and I'm glad it's over.
Well, I'm sure you had some, friends in the industry who probably tried to help you along the way. Or
there definitely was. I even asked, like I said, JJ from Torches gave me, a recommendation for a consultant and other things, and kind of just put the feelers out there to see what it was going to be like, and So, like I said, I'm glad it's over.
Well, it seems like the second location has really been working out, though, because every time I drive down Elmwood, I'm seeing people out there and everything. It's
exciting. It's been, I think, 2.5 months. It feels like a year. It's like crazy. And we're trying to, just like everything, we had to open, and we didn't think we were going to get reviewed our first day or so. So that was just like a kick in the face. Usually you're kind of under the radar for a couple days. We did have a kind of a quiet opening with friends and family and stuff like that. But it was just kind of the practice. And from the first day, it was like, the dupe things going off and off and off. It's like, oh my gosh. But it was good. I mean, it kind of forced us to get our shit together quickly.
Yeah.
And
well, I guess that's the kind of the Yelp urban spoon kind of.
Yeah. Yep. And I had to, unfortunately, I had to make some changes right away. I had to, the person I originally had in there, I had to, to part ways with, and then brought the guy from Hurdle over to run it and bring, and there's been a lot of adjusting.
Yeah.
But it's going well. We just started brunch, which is fun. Another dynamic to do.
Yeah.
We have a banquet room there, which we've been booking a couple parties. We're having, everything from surprise birthday party to fantasy draft football, all sorts of stuff. We'll pretty much do anything, but that's awesome. But it's going well. I mean, yesterday was a great day for us because the Elmwood Art Festival.
Oh yeah.
It was just great exposure to have all those people walking up and down, and we were, we usually close at 5 on Sunday. I think they were there till like 7:30.
Nice.
Because people are sitting at the bar drinking. We're not closing. So it's been great, and we're not done. I mean, we're not done with still implementing things and tweaking things, and even did a walkthrough with Michael P the other day, and we're gonna keep going with the interior and stuff like that. So.
Do you ultimately see the two locations kind of having different images or menus, or do you always want them to have the same kind of stuff?
I think menu for sure. Images and the consistency and service will be the same. Mm-hmm. That's the goal. But we have already had a lot of regulars from Hurdle come down, and they're like, "This isn't for me." I kind of, they're used to because it's a different. There's full service there, and all that. We still have the takeout part, but people are creatures of habit, and they like their style. And then we had a couple that are like, "Oh no, man, I'm coming here. I could get a pint of Guinness with my pastrami sandwich." Like, that's the way it goes sometimes. Everybody's got their own style, but it's for now it's two different places with the same affordable food and customer service, and I'm trying to be there as much as possible at both places to talk to people and be the face of it. But
how has that been? Dividing your time on a given day.
Well, first I have 4 kids, so that's a little tough. And that's my first obligation, is to be a dad and to take them to school or daycare and be there all as much as I can. So my day is pretty much a shit show from the start to the finish. But I asked for it. It's I love it. I'm very excited and passionate about what I do, and try and surround myself with people like that. No gloom and doom, that's for sure. I don't have, I don't have time for that shit. But it is. I'm trying to figure it out still. I lunches on Hurdle, dinners on Elmwood, catering, the big events I'm always there for, and always checking in and stuff like that. And that's why we just brought this other guy on Harley to continue that, because I'm really pushing the deli part, and the catering, we want to just take it to another level. So we're trying to balance it all, which it can be done. There's other guys in the city that own multiple places and are very successful at it, and it's learned by trial, because you just next thing you know, it's like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock, and you're like, oh my god, I gotta get one of my kids, or something like that. But
I have to eat something.
I lost like 25 pounds on Elmwood. That was
I guess that's a good
that was actually good that lost all that weight. But and having, like, my wife's very understanding. She works full time, but to have somebody in your corner that's that cheers you on and all that stuff is good. But we don't work together, which is probably a good thing. But like I said, we have a couple little ones running around, so that's our real work.
I guess we can kind of wrap it up. I mean, you have a lot on your plate now. I mean, are you still thinking about things down the road that you still would like to do? Or...
I mean, off the record, don't tell my wife this. For now, I'm set, but definitely not done. My appetite is not to be.
Did the second one only get you more interested in
it did to see the possibilities and stuff, but it really depends on who you have. It's really hard to find quality people that you could trust that take something that treat it as yours, and luckily I found a few guys and girls to help me with that, and I definitely don't think I'm done. A Joe's 3, maybe, but maybe something else. I love the atmosphere and the work and the whole thing. So maybe downtown. We'll see.
Did you ever have I was going to ask, did you ever have any concerns about the distance between the two on Elmwood or Hurdle? Did you feel like it was always far enough?
I think, yeah. I mean, I asked quite a few people.
Yeah.
And people in Buffalo are not hesitant to tell you what they think or why that's the reason, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Or they'll come up to me and tell me how great it was, or there's one little thing that you could do better, and I definitely take that into consideration. But a lot of people had said it was just outside their drive, whether they lived in Allentown or on the west side. It was past the S curves. It was just a little bit. They'd rather. There's so many options on Elmwood that you can definitely find something on Elmwood or in that area.
Yeah.
But we felt it was just far enough that we wouldn't be stealing from our own customers. Mm-hmm. And if I do, at least I'm stealing from myself. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Well, I know of a lot of people, like at least in the immediate Allentown area, that were like thrilled that that, they didn't have to go to Hurdle.
A lot of people. I mean, we get at like 4:00, we get all the restaurant, not all of them, but a good amount of people that are going to work in at restaurants, and they would, you could tell they're coming in on Hurdle to grab some food before they go start their shift, and it's just a little more convenient for them to get it there. And that's just one example, but.
Nice.
Yeah, so maybe the next one's just a little bit further away.
That'll be awesome. But Joe, thank you so much for coming down here.
Thanks for having me.
We are huge fans of the Deli, and
awesome.
My wife has been to the Elmwood one. I haven't yet, but
get your ass in there, man.
but keep up the great work, because
cool.
we're big fans. And,
awesome.
And thank you so much again.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man.
All right.
Cheers.